So healthy oils for cooking or eating raw, which ones?
The criteria for a healthy versus an unhealthy oil is how much polyunsaturated fat they have, primarily omega-6 polyunsaturated fats. As a practical matter, most oils don't have much omega-3 fatty acids because they tend to go rancid very quickly and they smell like rotten fish. So that's obviously not good to put in your processed food that's going to sit on the shelf for 6 months because it will stink when you open it. So an unhealthy fat is a fat with a lot of omega-6 fats, and a healthy fat is a fat that doesn't have much. At one extreme, you get things like rice bran oil that's probably 60% omega-6 fat, and at the other extreme, you get things like coconut oil or beef tallow that have a tiny little percentage of omega-6 fats. And the problem with omega-6 fats is that because of their molecular structure, they're very unstable and susceptible to oxidation, which is what your grandmother would have called rancidity, right? Rancid fats are toxic fats, period, end of story. So you do not want to eat things that go rancid. That is what causes the negative health consequences of seed oils. And apparently all processed seed oils contain from 400 to 1,000 times the level of rancidity as a living organism would contain. So arguably all omega-6 fats are rancid when they come out of the factory, which is something I learned just recently and was quite surprised to find out. Now, how do you make it worse? You cook with them.
Yes, you.
And considering that these are cooking oils, not being able to cook with them is a bit of a problem. Cooking oils are recognized by the International Association for Research in Cancer as a type 1 carcinogen based on consistent evidence from animal models and probable evidence from human models. They cause lung cancer, and they cause a different type of lung cancer from what smoking causes. And this type of cancer is most consistently seen in non-smoking women who do a lot of cooking, and it is increasing around the world. In fact, Sarah Hallberg, who I'm sure you know of, just died of lung adenocarcinoma, which is the type of cancer that's caused by cooking with seed oils. I don't know anything about her health history, but that is the type of cancer that's caused by cooking with seed oils.
Sarah Hallberg of Virta Health. I might put their website in the bottom as well. It's useful for the audience. So which ones are we talking? You mentioned the rice bran oil. What others? Let's name a few others that people commonly use.
Anything. So I call them, okay, so let's back up a sec. There's vegetable oils.
Yes.
Right? I try to distinguish between fruit oils, which is made from the outer fruity part, right? Like an olive has a pit. Olive oil is generally made from the outer part of the olive, not the pit. The pit's the seed, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing with avocado.
Avocado oil.
Same thing with avocado. Coconuts are a weird plant. You can find them described as a seed, a nut, or a fruit. So let's just kind of put them aside. They're a healthy oil, but botanically, they're kind of bizarre. I mean, you look at a coconut and you say, boy, it looks like a seed to me. So, yeah. But because they're tropical, they have a different fatty acid balance. So the bad ones, the obvious bad ones are corn oils, soybean oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, basically anything. Safflower is made from safflower seeds. Sesame oil is problematic. And unfortunately, the fruit oils, olive oil and avocado oil, are all often adulterated with cheaper seed oils. So if you're going to cook with those, I use them sparingly. I buy mayo made with or avocado oil, and I use olive oil sparingly. I'll go through maybe, 16 ounces of olive oil a year. And mostly I use pastured butter, and then coconut oil, depending on the flavor I want in a dish. And then beef tallow. Lard can be problematic also because of what pigs are fed, right? These fats bioaccumulate up the food chain. So if you feed a pig a lot of seeds and seed oils to fatten them up, which is what they do, then they're going to concentrate those oils in their bodies just like we do. And what you wind up eating is not so much a pig as a bag of grain and seed oils, right? And the fats can change, can dramatically change, go from if you feed pigs coconut oil, they're going to be about 2% omega-6 fats. If you feed them soybean, they're going to be up to 30% omega-6 fats. So they can actually be worse than something like canola oil. Canola oil is one of the healthier classic seed oils just because it has less of the omega-6 fat linoleic acid. That's the main troublemaker here.
I believe canola oil is the rapeseed oil in the UK. I'll double check that. It is.
Canola is the same as rapeseed. Yeah, canola is a brand name for Canadian rapeseed.
Rapeseed, which is very commonly used in the UK. And it does carry, in fact, rapeseed oil carries the healthy symbol by UK health, heart health symbol.
Heart healthy, yeah, right.
Heart healthy is the symbol, yeah. And so where do nut oils fit in here, like peanut oil? And so
it's pretty much the same. They're all seeds. The exception there are macadamia nuts, which have a very low omega-6 content. Macadamia nuts, I love. They're crazy expensive. My understanding is macadamia nut oil is even more expensive. But, you've got to, I like to distinguish sesame seed oil has a pretty high omega-6 content. It has some pretty effective antioxidants. Historically, it was recognized to cause people to get ill. But, if you're I use sesame oil as a flavoring, and that's a couple drops. So I don't really worry about that, right? I would be very careful about deep frying in any oil, right? And pan frying is actually even worse in terms of having the oil go rancid.
You mentioned
and there is, by the way, a great website run by a friend and colleague of mine called Seed Oil Rebellion, and they have lots of information on good and bad oils. I think they call them the Hateful Eight, which is a term Dr. Kate Shanahan coined, and then they have the 6 oils that you want to cook with, the Simple 6.
So we're mainly vilifying these oils because they contain very high levels of omega-6 fats,
right,
which make these oils go rancid very quickly. So is there any difference? Let's say if someone is eating peanuts and they're getting their omega-6s from peanuts as opposed to peanut oil. And that's just peanut as an example, but the oil as opposed to the actual sort of fruit or nut or seed itself. Any difference there?
The problem, yes, there is a small difference, right? The oils in the peanut are not going to be rancid, right? The peanut is designed to protect these oils, right? I mean, that's its mission in life, is to promote the growth of a peanut plant, right? So when you extract the oils from a peanut, there is going to be some process of rancidity. The problem is when these oils get into your body, they also go rancid. So they may start off as less rancid, but when you consume them, they will be incorporated into the tissues of your body and go rancid there. That, as you might imagine, is a bad thing. And we should talk about some of the rancidity products. Now, interestingly enough, to give you an example of the difference between a good peanut and a bad peanut, I recently learned that one of my favorite candies are peanut M&Ms. And I recently learned that a number of years ago, there is actually a low linoleic acid variety of peanut, a low omega-6 peanut. And the Mars company, the company that makes peanut M&Ms, committed 5 or 6 years ago to switch from the high linoleic to the low linoleic peanut, right? So now what did that mean for the Mars company, right? They didn't do this for health reasons. They did this because it extended the shelf life of these peanuts by 10 times. That's the difference in rancidity between a low linoleic and a high linoleic fat, even when it's inside the peanut. Right? So well, I'm stoked because peanut M&Ms are back on the menu for me as a treat once in a while. They are pretty delicious. But I was really shocked to hear what a difference it made. And there is actually for years been a big push in industry to lower the linoleic acid content of a lot of cooking oils because these fats cause a lot of problems. I mean, the craziest problem is if these fats are so unstable that, let's say you have a fryer and you have a guy working the fryer and he's wearing a uniform, and the uniform is going to get covered with a lot of these oils, right, from the deep fryer. And he takes his uniform off and it's a hot summer day and he throws it in the bin. And then they take the bin out to the laundry truck and they're driving along. And guess what happens? The uniform bursts into flames because the oils are so oxidatively unstable. They also cause a varnish around the fryer and inside the kitchen, right? Which is, it's a varnish. So it's really hard to clean off, right? So they've been pushing for lower linoleic acid oils because of not even because of the health problems, just because of the problems they have in cooking with them, right? So it's been a big push in industry to try and fix these oils. They haven't focused so much, they haven't explicitly focused on the health issues. And I think a lot of it is just because they just don't want to admit it, but you can find articles in the industry journals. For instance, there was a paper that was done years ago looking at deep frying potatoes, French fries in oils, and noting that the oil breaks down into an aldehyde, which is called 4-hydroxynonenal, HNE. This is a highly toxic product, right? It is cytotoxic, meaning it kills cells. It is genotoxic, meaning it causes genetic mutation. It actually causes a mutation in a gene called the TP53 tumor protection gene. It is the gene in your body that helps your body defend itself against cancer tumors getting going. This is the most common mutation we find in the most common Western cancers, like breast cancer and lung cancer and skin cancer. And, you know, the article kind of at the end of this paper, they said, look, these oils are breaking down into high levels of this highly toxic thing. Maybe we should, and it also causes obesity, just, you know, to really put the cherry on top. Maybe we should be concerned about this. And, you know, what'd you hear? Crickets. They will tell you, you know, it's amusing because the Harvard School of Public Health, on the one side of their mouth, they will tell you to eat seed oils. And on the other side of their mouth, they will tell you not to eat fried foods. What are fried foods cooked in? Seed oils. So make up your mind. Are they good or bad for you?